Meaning God owns the days of my life, but everyone calls me Osas for short. Um, my friends, people I know around, and then professionally, short form is Osa, first three letters of my name. But yeah, last name is Opefa.
Oh, all right. Good evening. It's really amazing to have you here.
I'm honored to be here.
I am so glad when I reached out to you and you agreed to come on the podcast. I was really excited. How are you feeling this afternoon?
Feeling great. In the middle of it's the middle of the day, not particularly midweek, but second work week of work day of the week. So it's
Hmm.
a little hectic, but we're pushing through. Pushing through. What about
I can
yourself?
understand how that feels. I can understand how that feels. Earlier today, before I left home for the community center, I sat down on my bed and I had to take in a couple of deep breaths because it just feels like today is already Thursday and today is just Tuesday.
Yeah,
It feels like I've done so much in the week already. I just want the week to end, to be honest. I really
yeah,
just want it to
yeah,
end.
yeah.
This is Made of Podcast, and I have here with me Osas Opefa. Did I get that? That's it. Right. Yeah. And we would be, exploring what's made him, right? How, and what are the components that made him what he is today? How did he get here? What sacrifices did he make? What were the costs and all of those things? And I'm really excited about this conversation because I feel like this conversation kind of gets help me to get to know you more on a personal
Yeah.
level. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I am really excited about it. Let's start from your origin. Your
Yeah,
origin. Everything has a beginning. Every single thing has a beginning, right? Every human being has a beginning. We did not just land here on earth out
of
of nowhere.
course.
We didn't just drop from heaven. You were born and brought up in Nigeria before you moved to
Yes,
the US.
yes,
What was that
yes.
like? What was that like, growing up in Nigeria? What
Uh,
was that like for you?
it was fun, mainly because no responsibilities as a kid, of course. I was born in Lagos, but not your center Lagos. It was I don't know what local government it's under now, but it was under Ikorodu local government. It's a little town called Ijede. It is in Ikorodu
Oh,
local government. But the thing is, so Ikorodu is like the other side of Lagos, really close to Ogun State. Um, but also the other side of Ikorodu, we're not central Ikorodu, right? The other side of Ikorodu towards the end, it's a dead end. The end of it is the lagoon. So that's where Ijede was. And then in Ijede, the center of the town was not where we were. We're on the outskirts of the town because my dad worked at NEPA, just to be called NEPA back then. It's now
oh,
PHC. It's PHCN now, but I know it used to be called NEPA then. My dad worked there, and so NEPA had an estate for the workers. So that was where I grew up. Um, that when I was born, my parents were living there, and then I grew up there. Matter of fact, I spent the majority of my life there until I moved to the US. The only time I wasn't there was when I was in boarding school and secondary school. And then when I was in university in Nigeria. And then of course when I took little trips here and there within Nigeria to visit aunties, uncles, or whatever. But majority of the time was there. I grew up there. Everything was okay. It was a nice mix. I was very naive when I lived there. I did not know anything about the world right now. I did not know anything about some kind of segregation, differentiation, differences. I did not know anything about that. I just knew I was a child and I played with other children in our neighborhood. And, it went to school in the estate. primary, well,
Oh.
from kindergarten, from daycare to kindergarten two to nursery school, primary school. I only left to go outside of the estate for secondary school, but of course I always came home. But it was nice. We played soccer, everything. We were all the same with Yoruba children, Hausa children, Edo, Delta, whatever. We didn't even know that there was any difference. Like, I mean, yeah, we would speak different languages amongst ourselves, but it wasn't really a thing of differentiation. It was a thing of inclusivity. Like, for example, we might be playing football and somebody would say something in Yoruba and every Igbo person around there would reply in Yoruba, something like that, right? Or vice versa, if we knew the Igbo version of what they were saying. So it wasn't until I went out that I understood what differences were and how different I was from.
Yeah.
But it was nice. It was fun. It was very, very much fun. A lot of unity.
That sounds like fun. You grew up with two major stereotypes. Like, first of all, you grew up in Ikorodu. There is a major stereotype around Ikorodu right
Oh,
now
what is
that they
it?
say people in Ikorodu would assume that they are also in Lagos. And there's this trend on TikTok that is going on where they kind of shade Ikorodu girls slightly. I don't know the basis of that, but it's a common theme with people in Ikorodu. I don't know why. Apparently, they are supposed to be excluded from the entire part of Lagos, right?
Well,
Also, you grew up as, the child of someone that works in PHCN. Growing up, right, whenever we see NEPA people around our area, we just know that they are just here to come and cause trouble and disrupt our lives and, take down our light and everything. So there's this constant, what's it called? This constant friction between those that work in PHCN and the communities, and you hear
yeah.
people say that you hear people swear for them, they'll swear for their kids, and you hear people say if your father is a policeman or your father is a NEPA official, just be using every second to say God forbid, God forbid. So those were two
So,
major stereotype, which is very
okay.
interesting because I do not think that you portray any of those stereotypes, like not even a single one. If you didn't tell me that you grew up in Ikorodu, I would not believe.
Okay, so let me quickly reply to those two stereotypes. Those stereotypes have existed even back then when I was in Nigeria. It's very true. You're correct. But I will say it's a nice joke, but there's some truth in it regarding like Ikorodu not being part of Lagos. It used to be, well, majority of the people there are Ogun people. They're from Ogun State because it's really so
Oh.
close to Ogun State. There's a large influx of Ogun State people there. So even like the local dialect of Yoruba, you see more Ijebu, Shagamu people there because it's so close. As far as like working in NEPA, my dad was working in the generation aspect of it, not in the distribution. So he never ever
Oh.
went out sites. That his own was to generate with whatever resources the government gave. So yeah, but the stereotypes are very true. Very true.
That is very, very interesting. So a major thing that backs every single thing I do, from my work, right? The people that I
Yeah.
serve outside of the podcast, a major thing that backs it is the fact I kind of believe that communities shape communities shape the way we turn out. You mentioned that you grew up in a community-like environment where everybody plays together, which I think is very interesting. I believe that children need environments like that to grow. I believe that
Yeah.
children need a village. And when I'm talking about a village, I'm not saying, nannies.
Of course.
I'm not saying nannies. I'm talking communities. Years back, parents and grandparents used to raise their kids collectively. You'd
Yeah.
hear, oh, a mother can correct someone else's child without feeling like she's overstepping her boundary. We don't have that
Yeah.
anymore. It feels like everybody's secluded. Everybody's growing alone. Each child, you would
Yeah.
see children that they don't even know their neighbors. It's that bad. But you obviously grew up in the kind of environments that I think would be very healthy for a child in a community-like environment. Do you think that's kind of shaped how you turned out? I
Of
mean,
course.
you are grown now. Yeah, a
Yeah.
grown adult. So do you think growing up in an environment like that's kind of impacted you in any way?
Absolutely. 100%. First and foremost, in so many ways. Let me give a few. It helped me when I got out, when I went out of the neighborhood and I started to understand the differences, it helped me reconcile it in the sense that it helped me deal with people. So I knew how to deal with people better because I'd grown up around different tribes, different ethnicities, and so like I got along with them. Like this is not a I still get along with them. That's what I'm trying to say. I like we're still majority of my friends that I grew up with are here in the US.
Oh,
And what's
interesting.
great, yeah, what's great is that I have many of them in the same city as me. So currently, so it helped me growing up where I grew up. Helped me not tolerate. Tolerate is the wrong word. Help me assimilate different cultures and helped me to get along or easily get along with people from different cultures quicker. Like it wouldn't take me a month to be able to, interact with somebody maybe from the north or something because like we've all
Yeah,
like we had the little funny Hausa one-liners here that might that will make somebody laugh or something. We throw it,
yeah.
and before you know, it's broken the ice and everyone's good. Another way it helped me, it helped me preserve friendships. Like I used to tell people, my majority of my friendships are over 30 years. Like
Wow.
I've known them since I was in kindergarten. We grew up together that way, went to different universities in Nigeria, met again in the US, and we travel around, visit each other sometimes. The ones that are close by, we play football together. So it helped me um, know that friendship is not a short term thing. It really is a long term thing. And acquaintances is could be short term. But yeah, it helped me those two ways that I can think of. There are many other ways academically as well, because we always used to challenge each other academically as well. All our parents were you can't come home as an olodo. So to and Nigerian parents version of olodo is not the real version of olodo. Nigerian parents,
Yeah.
if you get 90 out of 100, they are olodo because they all of them supposedly used to get 100 in their days,
Nope,
but
none of our parents had below 100. None of them.
no, not had 100, and they were all first. So I'm wondering who was last back then, but yeah, it definitely translated into us as kids. So many things, driving, uh, mischief, learning right from wrong came from that estate, came from that environment. Like parents, like you said, the community would raise you. And don't let somebody's parents catch you doing something. And if they catch you, don't pray that they discipline you themselves and don't go tell your
They
parents
don't go
because
to,
you're
oh
dead.
my God, yeah. That is a common thing. Just pray that they discipline you yourself. And even if they discipline you yourself, pray that they do eventually also tell your parents. That's double
Your
discipline.
parents. Yeah, yeah. So those are a few ways in which, like, I could go in depth, but those are a few ways because of time.
Mm, that's amazing. That is really amazing. You say your friendships has lasted over 30 years. I mean, I'm not up to 30, obviously. I'm in my early 20s. I don't think I have a friendship that has lasted past 10 years, right? Which I think is really nice. So, do you think that your friends would describe you the same way they used to describe you, say, 20 years ago or 25 years ago? Do you think they'll say, oh, Osas is this, and it has remained true over the years?
Or in certain areas, yeah,
Also,
right. So, like at my core, they know that okay, I'm this person. Like we all know things about each other. Like we know who the joker is, who the serious person is, who is the first to run into fire. Um, so it's not just me. We can describe each other, but of course we've grown, right? And different things have changed. Um, like I always say, guys, there are two versions of guys. No matter how much guys want to pretend and say, there's the version of a guy when he's by himself, and there's the version of a guy when he's with his friends, and
his friends.
and there's a version of a guy when he's with his partner or lover or whatever you want to call it. So, of course, they didn't see that side of me growing up. But now, as we've grown, they've seen me date, they've seen me married. So it's different. They will definitely have some different. Will notice some differences, but at my core, they definitely will know me that okay, I'm this person who I say what I mean, right? And
Yeah.
uh, I always call it as it is. But like as my friend, I can call you out on anything. But let somebody else from outside try to call you out on that thing. They got
You
to deal with me.
defend.
They have to deal with, like, they have to pass through. I don't care if that friend is the tallest friend, the fattest friend. I'm stepping in front. Like, nah, you got to go through me before you get to my friend. Like, so that part of me never changed, you know. But other things, of course, as I've grown, things will change. You become more mature. Things that you might be doing before, maybe you're the type to run headfirst into Wala before you're growing up. You're having more responsibilities in your life. You can't do that. You have to calm down. You know, because you can't throw your life away over minor things. You have to be careful. But yeah, at my core, they definitely will not do know that I'm still the same person.
And that's amazing. But something that I think has been very consistent in everything you've spoken about is your friendship. So it feels like you basically carried your community from Nigeria to the US. Not everybody can boast of a community like that. Not everybody can boast of a community like that. I think it's amazing that your community
Yeah.
has made you
Thank
in so many ways. And I'm glad, I am really glad because it's not a common thing, especially in this day and age. There's a loneliness pandemic, and I think it stems from the fact that not a lot of people have communities that they can rely on. Amazing.
Yes.
So, how long did you spend in Nigeria before you moved? Like, how many years? Like,
I turned 20 in December and then I left in January.
that is still really really young, to be honest. 20 is still young. Okay,
Uh,
as I 20,
yeah.
I was almost done with the university. What was the transition from Nigeria to the US like for you? What was that like for you?
Huh. So I came for school. It was very tough. First, shock is the weather. No matter how prepared you are for winter, you're not fully prepared. And I'd never
Yeah.
experienced ever winter experience, right? And then there's the language barrier. Yes, we speak English, and the Americans speak English, but they speak English in a different way. Different accent. You have to. No amount of movies prepare you for the Southern American accents, right? Like in the South is different. It's more country, and that's very, very difficult to understand if you haven't lived here before. And if they speak slowly, yeah. When they speak fast, there's also the educational barrier. What I mean by that is,
Educational
so my first
barrier.
semester, yeah, that's what I was going to explain. My first semester here, I was taking English compositions. You have to write essays and everything.
Oh.
And I remember my first ever. So my laptop, I brought my laptop from Nigeria, and it was programmed to the language it was programmed to was British English.
Oh
So when I
yeah.
would type, yes, when I would type, I'll spell words like color, COLOR. It'll automatically change it to COLOUR because it's
Mm-hmm.
British. And so since I'd spent 20 years in Nigeria, I've spent basically majority of my life at that point um spelling things a particular way, right? So when I'm proofreading and I see COLOUR, my mind just goes, "Oh, it's good, you know." And that was my first ever essay. My mind just goes, "Oh yeah, it's good. It's not a problem." The teacher said, "You can write, but you can't spell."
Oh.
Yeah, that's what he said. Because every time words like that appeared, he always like circled it. So it took some getting used to. Of course, obviously, I had to explain to him that, these words. And this is somebody who was born and brought up in America. It was
Yeah.
brought up in. He never left the South. So the way he spells words is he's not even open to their. I mean, obviously he knows that the British spell differently, but that the way the American way did not register in my head. It's the same way the British way does not register or did not register in his head. So yeah, it was tough. I got some points taken off for that essay, and that was an English class. Now think about other classes like you're doing history.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I took American history my first semester. So those little um challenges here and there. Um
That sounds very difficult. I think I would have been very frustrated if someone told me you can write but you cannot spell. Because what do you mean I cannot spell? I did not spend 20 years in school for you to tell me that I cannot spell. I would actually throw hands. I'm not even kidding. Because what do you mean I cannot spell? But yeah,
I mean, we just had to take it like that. There was nothing we could do.
right. I mean, one person has to budge, and it's definitely not going to be your lecturers.
Exactly.
You currently work in cybersecurity. Is this
Yes.
something that you knew you were always going to do? I mean, even before you left Nigeria, what was it like? You said you were in the university when you were still in Nigeria. Were you studying something related, or it's just something you stumbled upon?
So yes and no. It's going to be a long explanation. So when I was in Nigeria, I was doing electrical electronics engineering. It's not what I wanted to do. But as Nigeria is now, it's still one of the top,
Yeah.
or at that now, but at that time was one of the top courses to study, or fields of study. So I was happy I was in there because it was top, but it wasn't really like my thing. My thing was more computers. So when I came to the US, I I did I was doing computer information systems. That's what I came here to do. And so I joined the military.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yes. I was in the army for a while, and then when I finished my army service, I wanted to go back to finish my bachelor's degree. So I went to this one school that accepted all my transcripts from my previous school, so I wouldn't have to start again. So, and then I was when I joined the army, I was in my third year. I had one more year to go. So that school just told me, "Oh, just come and complete your last year." So I was doing that, computer information systems. So I was taking an elective, and the elective was Intro to Cybersecurity. Um, at that time, I'd always seen cybersecurity everywhere, but I never really paid attention to it because for me, it was like I'm doing computer information systems. I'm still going to do computer security. So when I did Intro to Cybersecurity, so there's a way the things work here educationally. Before you start your class, and since I took it as an online class, so before you start your class, they'll send you the syllabus for the whole semester for that class. And of course, you'll have vital information. You can go through it. Most people don't. I don't go through it, but for some reason, I decided to go through this one. I don't know why. That day I was so idle. I went through it, and so I mean, he did the introduction paragraph, and it looked nice. I was like, this is actually very good. Like he wrote this very well. So, and then I kept reading. He wrote about the projected growth of the field. That was the intro, like the first page of the syllabus.
Yeah.
So I was like, growth. So there's this thing I do. Any field of study, I go to. There's a department in the US called Department of Labor. So departments are kind of like ministry and commissions. That's the equivalent in Nigeria. So
Okay.
Department of Labor. Yeah, the Department of Labor, which tells you every job category in the US and the likely pay and then the projected growth. So I went to look those up and I was like, hold up, this is actually a very good field and it's close to my field. So I talked to my academic advisor. I said, listen, I want to add this to my major, which is like my field of study. So I'll come out with 2 degrees. And so he was like, oh yeah, you can add it. Um, he said, yeah, you can add it. You don't have to take that many extra classes, maybe just 2 extra classes.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, I can swing that in the final 2 semesters, no problem. So that was how I ventured into cybersecurity. So I was taking the classes, right? Um, after each after each topic, no, after each domain, so it's called domains, they'll tell us about a voucher that we can use to take um certification examinations, right? And so
yeah.
because the school used to give us discounted vouchers to take the exam, so we would not pay the full
Oh,
price to take the exams. So I started to wonder, and at that time, I had also I was also thinking of joining the Air Force Reserves. And so when I
after
went to the
leaving the army.
yeah, so when I went to
Oh,
see the Air Force recruiter, I told him what I was studying in school. So he said, "Oh, we have a cyber unit here." And from that talk, I'm telling you, 5 minutes later, we were on our way on base to go see the head of the cyber unit.
wow.
And yeah, and we had a discussion, and she was like, "Yeah, I think we can. I think we'll take him. I like him." And that was how I joined the Air Force Reserves doing cybersecurity. And so I just said, you know what, I'm just going to take this field seriously and just ventured into it. I did my master's as well. So I've been in cybersecurity for over a decade now.
That's amazing. So you've been in cybersecurity with the efforts for over a decade now. Wow.
Well, no, no, not the Air Force, but I've been in cybersecurity for over a decade. I did the Air Force for 6 years.
That is
And then
amazing. It feels like you moved from engineering to computer information science to the military and then to cybersecurity. That is such a long journey. Do you think that
yeah,
your engineering degree back in Nigeria kind of influenced your paths? Did it influence your paths and your job and what you currently do now? Has it influenced it in any way or it just did not matter?
honestly, I can give you a trained answer, but to be honest, didn't matter. I'll be very honest with you. For several reasons. There was not a lot computer related when I was doing that in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Um, Everything still manual, you know. But I didn't finish the degree. I left when I was finishing 200 level, going to 300. Um, yeah, I didn't. I left. I didn't finish. It didn't do. Maybe I think you can always pick out something from every situation. So if I were to pick something out of that situation, I will say it helped me understand the difference between Nigerian education and American education system,
Yeah.
and that if you can survive in Nigeria, you definitely will thrive outside of Nigeria, especially when you're in a European or North American country. Definitely will thrive because the conditions are so so difficult. I don't want to use a bad word. So difficult in Nigeria. I'm trying not to demarcate Nigeria, but you can imagine the school where you have 100 students in a hall, and one lecturer, how is his or her voice, especially if it's even a lady, that's even worse, but she's not going to shout. So how's her voice going to permeate through the whole hall, and you hear, not just hearing to understand. You have to deal with so many students talking and all of that. Um, in the US, I think the most I've ever experienced in school, in a university, in a classroom, I think is the most I've experienced is 30, and that's pushing it, and that's me exaggerating.
Wow. I remember when I was in 100 level, when I first got into the universities, we have lecture halls that can contain
Mhm.
about 1,000 students.
Yep.
A lecture hall
Use it
that
for gyms.
contains about 1,000 students, right, would be full to the brim. We were always sitting on
Yep.
the floor, on the stairs, would skills ourselves like
Come
sandals.
by the
People would be
window.
standing outside.
Yeah, by the window outside. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was terrible. I don't think I took a single note when I was in 100 level, like not one, because I could not hear. I
Me
could not hear
too.
what the lecturer was saying. It was bad. It was bad. Hi,
Sorry.
please. Right.
Oh, I was going to talk about another difference. Over here, you can challenge your grades, right?
Also,
Um, if you feel like you got more and they gave you less than what you were graded less than what you thought you got, you can go talk to the teacher and say, I want you to regrade this because I feel like I got more
oh,
than this. And you listen to you lay your point. If he doesn't listen to you or you're not satisfied with his answer, you can go to the faculty head and go complain.
wow.
Yeah.
That's actually, I feel like you can kind of do it in do the same in Nigeria. It's just a lot of students would be scared because what happens if
The
this lecturer
backlash,
decides to come after me
yes, the
and then
backlash is
fail
what
me?
yeah, the
The
backlash is
outcomes
crazy in
would have
Nigeria.
been really different, like very different
Uh-huh.
outcomes because you're going to a lecturer here in Nigeria and telling the lecturer that you did not mark my scripts well, I want to remark it, would either mean, getting your actual score or failing the entire
Yeah.
semester. So it's very
Oh
risky.
yeah. You can get your actual score in Nigeria, but what comes after you get your after score for the rest of your stay in
Oh
that
my
school,
God.
we don't like it. But yeah, no, those are like major different. There's still other differences, but yeah, those are the differences. That me studying elect in Nigeria didn't have an impact on anything here. Did not. I never.
All right. Do you think that if you had not left the country, you'd have still ended up where you are? Do you think that it would have still been the same outcome?
No, I don't mince words. I'm sorry. I don't like to deceive people when it comes to, especially when it comes to this part of life. If I were still there, um, I would say this: I would have made it regardless. I would have made something of myself regardless, but it wouldn't be in the way. It'd be a different way. I would have because I have God, of course, and I believe I'm successful anywhere. It could place me anywhere. I'll be a success. That's my belief in myself, right? And belief that God has got me. But I definitely, if I did not move here, it would have been a different path. And let's not kid ourselves. The struggle would have been more. Because
Yeah.
Nigeria is a beautiful country, but Nigerians know how to destroy dreams and how to kill people's efforts, and that would have been a thing. It would have surely been a thing for sure. But I mean, yeah, would I have made it? Yeah, definitely. But would it have been this way? Definitely not.
Uh, you mentioned that you'd have made it regardless, and that you have so much believe in yourself, which I think
Yes.
it's like such an amazing quality. Or the way you phrased it kind of seems like success is something that is not your definition of success is not something that is fixed. Like if it is not
Mm.
this, that's really. So what do you think that success looks like for you right now? And also 20 years ago, what do you think you'd have described success like for you? Like what do you think success was for you? And what do you think success is now for you?
Huh.
And what has
Okay.
made the difference?
Um, of course, when you're young, when you're like before your teens and in your early teens, success is there, man. I want that car, I want that house, I want money, I want to have all these things, man. I'm gonna be so rich. That's success, right? Um Now success, that is only a part of success now for me. That's
Mm.
only a part of um success now is very simple. is what impact do you have on, first and foremost, yourself, first and foremost, then your family, your friend, yourself, your family, your friends, and then your environment, your neighborhood. If you cannot touch all four, you're not completely successful. It's not about how much money you have. How much money you have. Money is fleeting, it goes and it comes, and the value of money changes. But the value of
Yeah.
your impacts, the value of your impacts will never change. Like, for example, if you have so much money and your mom and dad are not doing well, you're not successful. You're just rich. You are not
Yeah.
successful. You just have money. You're not even wealthy. You just have money, right? But when you have money, um, not just that you have money, you have money, you live good. The money is reflective on your parents' lifestyle. Like, your parents are doing well. They're comfortable, they have everything they need, or they have almost everything they need, but they have what will make them comfortable, meaning the parents can go to bed with a full stomach, they can sleep well. um like, you put them in, they're in a place where they can sleep well all through the nights without fear of this or that. Although we know Nigeria is going through its own thing regarding, like, citizen safety or whatever. But for the most part, they're able to put a roof over their head or maintain the roof they have. They're able to feed. They're able to go here, go there. They're able to afford this one or two things here. People in your if they go to your environment and ask about you, they're like, oh yeah, this person is actually a good person. Like, this is their impact here. They helped with this, or they help kids, go to school, or they help kids focus in life, things like that. That is success. Like, um, you know, for me, right, a bunch of people can have called and said, oh yeah, you did it. That's very fulfilling for me, right? And the most fulfilling part is not even the money part. It's like, oh yeah, you were the one that told me to go do this and it worked. That is fulfilling for me. That is success. Nothing can beat that. Not money, not any of that. Nothing can beat, because there are so many people that have money and they don't have impacts in people's lives. Rather, they have negative impacts in people's lives. So it's
Yeah.
about
That's amazing. You're a very community oriented man. And I kind of find it surprising. I don't know why I find it surprising, but like, it is very obvious that you're a very community oriented person. And I'm very interested in that. Right. I am very interested in your community. So tell me, in what ways have they shaped who you are? In what ways, as when I am talking about communities, I'm talking about your parents, your siblings, your wife, your friends, your co-workers, your church members. How has your
uh,
community shaped who you are?
so um I'll say my community, majorly my friends around here, um they help because it's different ideology, different mindsets coming together. How has it helped me? It's helped me because from growing up in that community and seeing different mindset. Think about it. I grew up in a place that was fenced in, right? And if I were to talk about the population of that place, I would say we were about 20 to 30,000 people,
Oh,
right? And oh yeah, for sure. If not even more. And
wow.
it's it's crazy that everyone knows almost everyone, or at the very least, you will know someone that knows someone. And the degrees of separation are not that much. Like, you're looking for someone, before you ask two people, you found the
You'll
person.
find the
That's how,
person.
yeah, that's how it was. And so going to school with all those different children, and then you see their parents, it helped me in the professional world or in the outside world, because like when I go out and I see people do certain things, I know what to react to, I know what not to react to. um it it also helped me, in the sense that because we're always so challenging towards each other academically and in every way, um being, intellectually, you have to be sharp, you have to speak well, read well, assess situations well, you have to make good decisions. Yeah, now I state back then, you made terrible decisions, you would have to hide yourself, because it's like we're very competitive. And even as we're compared, we're also very jovial. We joked a lot with ourselves. So it helped us learn how to take jokes. And then for someone like me, being the only son or being the only boy and, male child, it helped me develop a sense of community, because it can be difficult for the only male child to do certain things. And it helped me also be able to spot and identify a fellow only male child who's struggling in certain areas and how to help them not struggle. So there's
Mm.
a bunch of things in there, or living in that community, belonging to that community, helped me with.
Growing up as the only male child in an African home must have come with its own expectations and pressure. I
Yes.
feel like every single child in an African home kind of feels pressure in different ways. However, you see, firstborn children, it's a different kind of pressure. Now imagine a firstborn male child. Oh my God. How has those pressure, the expectations that even the unspoken ones, right? How have they set the course of your life? Do you think that it's something that you constantly try to prove, or you constantly try to, oh, I need to prove myself, I need to meet these expectations, I need to exceed these expectations? Is that something that you constantly have at the back of your mind, and has it shaped, your entire outlook and overall approach to life in any way?
Yes, there are the good parts and the bad parts. Being the only son and the firstborn, of course, you then being in a competitive environment with friends and everything, it adds up. It makes you super competitive, super careful. Um, you can't make mistakes. There's no room for error. If you make a mistake, you better keep it to yourself. But so the positive of that is that it sharpened me. Um, kept me on my toes. In different ways, because okay, as the only boy, in Nigerian setting now, you have to fight for your sisters. You have to protect your
Yeah.
sisters. And being the firstborn, it falls on you automatically. Then even being the only boy too, that part helped me be strong physically, helped me become strong mentally and intellectually. The bad part is that not a lot of people could understand my, lack of a better word, struggles, right? The things like you said, it's unspoken. You can't walk up to a fellow boy and be like, man, I'm under pressure, I'm the only boy, I'm the only son, whatever. It's gonna look at you like, I'm a man, so I'm under pressure. So it's unspoken. The pressure, it varies. But you can't fail, you can't do wrong. You have to lead your sisters, right? Um yeah, the bad part is that it's difficult. So you have to learn to open up, because you become so closed, even though you have a community. Because some of the pressure is unspoken or might not be understood by everyone, you tend to keep it to yourself and just be like, yeah, hold your own. Yeah. So of course it shaped me, but yeah, there were struggles along the way, definitely.
Ah, oh my God. I don't even want to imagine it. I keep saying it every single day that I am so glad that I was not born as a first child in a Nigerian home. I see, in my next life, I would come back as a second child. I am not even kidding. Kudos to my other sister. That's why I love her so much. But yeah, I would not come as a first. In my next one, I do not want to. I do not want that kind of life. But you guys are doing amazing. Firstborn children deserve their accolades. Shout out to you all for you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much.
um, you went to the military, right? This rigid training that people assume that a lot of military people are people who went to the military, or ex or the sorry, veterans. We refer to you
Yeah.
guys as veterans. People assume that veterans are very strict and disciplined. In
Yeah.
Nigeria, there's a saying that when someone is very strict, they call the person old soldier, because I mean, person has gone through rigorous military trainings, and they've instilled discipline, they've instilled consistency, they've instilled all of these values into them. So do you think
Yeah.
the values that were instilled in you while you were in the military, you've kind of replicated them in your personal life? And in your personal life, have they reflected in your personal life? Is it something that you carried from you carried with you as you left? Like, and is this something that has stuck with you?
Yes. I'll say the military. I used to say it before that the military gives structure. I mean, I still say it. It gives structure. Definitely influenced me. In a way that sometimes I still spout out military terms when I'm talking to people. It's I used to be a respectful person. I've always been a respectful person. It made me even more respectful.
Oh,
Um, yeah, it made me more respectful of people's ranks, people's walks. You know how sometimes you feel like you're the one that have it the worst, and then you meet people from different backgrounds because you go into the military and you see people that have been through something either just as traumatic or even worse, and then you're like, dang, I have to respect that. I gotta respect that. I gotta respect where you're from, right? So like, it gave me a chance to meet more people, learn more. Definitely gave me a chance to learn how to shoot better. Um, and I still shoot from time to time. Um, it made me more interested in weapons. I never used to be really interested in combat weapons before, but I went into the military. I shot every type of military weapon known. Military,
wow.
uh, yeah, ammunition known. So, it helped me with that. And I still teach or try, yeah, I still try to teach people that either just want to learn or people who are going into the military. Like I try to teach them how to shoot to help me stay fit, help me know what to do to stay fit, even in going through life now. Like, so definitely it affected me a whole much, and it's still affecting me too. So I'm still carrying those things. Like, I know, like, if I run a certain time, I know, okay, I'm getting slower. I need to buck up. I need to do this. I need to train more, or, or maybe I'm packing too much weight on things like that. So it helped me physically. Yeah.
That's amazing. I don't think I could survive the rigorous training that comes with being
Yes,
in
you
the
can.
military.
Yes,
I
you
would,
can. A lot of people
God, I
can.
beg. I do not think that I have that strength to survive in the military. I mean, we don't know what the future holds. I still have so many years ahead of me.
Right. Don't knock it until you try it. Military is not
Right,
bad.
exactly. Exactly. Um uh you mentioned having this very strong belief in yourself, and I had mentioned that I find it very admirable. Right. I was having a conversation, and I was telling the person that there is no point in my life where I have not seen myself successful. Right. In
Yes.
every single imagination, in every single daydreaming, in every single thing, like every single thought about the future, I'm a successful woman. And I want to believe that
Out of
it's the same for everybody. And
Yes.
even though I know that self-doubt is a really valid thing, like self-doubt is
Yeah.
real, and it's real. So how have you dealt with all of these things? How have you dealt with self-doubt?
Oh, yes. Self-doubt is a huge thing. Especially when you try to do something and it doesn't work. And um, dealing with self-doubt, honestly, is God. I literally talk to God about that because there's really nothing you can do. There really is no therapist or there's nobody that can make you believe in yourself.
Yeah.
There's nobody. They they can make you believe in them, but to believe in yourself, that has to come from between you and God, honestly. Because to believe in yourself is to believe in what or who God says you are. Um and the moment you can believe that, you will know that okay, struggles come and go, but no, you'll be fine. Like, I mean, there's through each setback, you just have to keep your eyes where you're going. It can be difficult, can be deflating, especially when things just crumble and you don't even know the next step to take immediately. You don't even know you might even know the next step. You don't even know if it's gonna work out. Um, it might even be your least desirable step. But, sleep, sleep well and wake up, because one thing I always tell myself is that the sun is going to rise tomorrow.
Yeah.
The sun is going to rise tomorrow, and your bills are going to pile up tomorrow. You're going to be hungry tomorrow, regardless of what is going on. You have to find a way to make sure you have food to eat, and you have a place to sleep tomorrow. And so, how do you do that? By stop crying now about what's going on today and looking for what you could do for tomorrow. So, whatever plan fails, you need to start. Like, for me, when a plan fails, the most is that night. Is that night. The only thing I start worrying about next is how to the only thing I worry about next is how to start the next phase of the plan, like what's next and how to implement it. But what's gone is gone. Because if you dwell on what's gone, you will continue to doubt yourself and you will not even think of moving forward. But yeah, a
Mm.
huge part of that is praying and believing in what and who God says you are.
Amazing. I mean, I could go on and on because I feel like there's still so many things that I want to talk about.
I feel like we're going to have to adjourn this and do this.
Right. But I always like to end with one question. What are you made of? What sacrifices the cost? What are you made of? What makes you?
Yeah.
What makes the person that you are right now?
I know it's a cliche answer, but really it is God. Honestly, like it really is just reading God's word and knowing where you are and who you are and what you're supposed to do. Um, you see yourself doing certain things, or when you know who and believe who you are, you will know when you're in the wrong place. Like when you believe this is what God says I am and who God says I am, you would know you're in the wrong place. 100%.
Mm.
You will know when you're in the wrong place. You will know when you're in the right place, and you know when you're in the right direction, and you will know your purpose. So honestly, God makes me because He lets me know, okay, this is my purpose. I'm supposed to do, and when I'm not there, my heart will be troubled.
Man, that sounds amazing. What would you say to the listeners, to the people listening to this podcast right now? What would you say to them?
Um, keep hold on a second. Okay, so keep believing in yourself. Keep um loving life. Sorry, sorry, just a second. Keep believing in yourself. Keep loving God. Keep advancing towards your goal. Don't listen to anyone that tells you anything otherwise. As long as you you have a picture of where you're going in mind. And yeah, take advice from people, but know who you're taking advice from. Know if the advice is coming with discouragement, throw it away, because people can advise you and discourage you at the same time, but people can advise you and uplift you if it's not all doom. Like if you're saying, oh, I want to do this, and the person is like, no, you can't do this. Yeah, you need to run away from the person. But if the person is like, no, you shouldn't do this, you should do this instead, it's to get you the same results or even better result. Yeah, you can listen to the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was an amazing conversation. I'm really glad. This was an amazing and really insightful conversation. Thank you so much. It's
Thank
really
you very
nice
much.
having you here. Do you want to be found? Where can people find you? Like, do you want to be found? Your social media? Where can
Oh,
people find you?
I don't want to be found for professional reasons. I'll tell you why off air.
All right, no problem. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So
All
much.
right.
I'll text you.
Yeah, it's an honor. I appreciate this. Thank you.
All right.